Baseball on CSN Chicago is presented by State Farm. Well, Ernie's favorite phrase was "let's play two." And the Cubs and the Padres will do that today. It's a makeup doubleheader after a rainout on Monday as the Cubs look for their 9th consecutive win here in Game 1. And welcome to Cubs baseball here on CSN. Along with Jim Deshaies, I'm Len Casper. We have a good problem up here in the booth. Who do we talk about in the open? Usually 4 or 5 candidates. Today it's Ben Zobrist.
Yeah, well, the Cubs scored 8 runs in the ball game last night. Ultimately needed all of them. Ben Zobrist, a big part of the story last night. A 4-hit game. This is a guy who's coming off the Player of the Week award, co-Player of the Week the previous week. You see, he had some struggles early on, but last 15 hitting almost 400. He has worked 13 walks, struck out just 4 times in that stretch. He has the best walk-to-strikeout ratio by a wide margin in Major League Baseball.
And steady as she goes at second base defensively as well for the veteran Zobrist. In Game 1, it'll be right-handers Colin Ray for the Padres. Kyle Hendricks will go for the Cubs. Cubs have a bunch of guys with at least 20 RBIs already this season. They're scoring a ton of runs, and they'll take on the San Diego Padres next.
Is brought to you in part by your Chicago area and Northwest Indiana Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, through it all. Ford, inviting you to check out their fuel-efficient lineup at your local Ford store or at localfordstores.com. And by Southwest Airlines, transparency, low fares, nothing to hide.
Welcome back. Lights are on. It's a foggy, hazy afternoon. I think we're in about lower 60s right now, and dry. That's the whole key to the ball game. And I mentioned RBIs. The Cubs have 4 guys with at least 20 knocked in already. Only team in baseball to say that. Ben Zobrist catching up to Anthony Rizzo with his hot stretch here as of late. It's a pretty good infield, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say so. Good productive bunch. I'm just looking online here. I can't find another team in the National League that has more than 2 20 RBI players. The Cubs are scoring a ton of runs. It's all the traffic, all the walks, all the opportunities, and they're cashing it in.
And they take the field behind Southern California native Kyle Hendricks, who's been terrific in his young career against these Padres. And now their Southwest starting lineup written out by manager Andy Green. Travis Jankowski with his first action in the series. He will lead off in center. Myers, Kemp, Wallace, and Norris in the same spots we saw them last night. Alex Dickerson got them back in the game with his first career home run off the bench. Jose Perella is at second. Chicago native Adam Rosales is in for Alexei Ramirez. And Colin Ray, the pitcher, will bat ninth.
Cubs defensively for game one here this afternoon have a little different look in the outfield. Jason Hayward will play center field as Dexter Fowler gets game one off. He's flanked by Soler and Bryant left and right. Infield Baez, Russell, Zobrist, Rizzo, Tim Fedorovich behind the plate, and our Lexus pursuing perfection starting pitcher, the professor, Kyle Hendricks. 2 up, 2 down, a 3.10 ERA. He's made 5 starts. Last time working on extended rest, he was not rusty at all. 6 shutout innings against the Nationals, coming on the heels of a 5-inning 1-run performance against Milwaukee back on April 26th. And as Len said, really good against these Padres in 3 starts, 2-0 with an 0.82 ERA, including a complete game shutout in San Diego just about a year ago.
Umpires for game one, Toby Basner calls balls and strikes. Stu Sherwater is at first. Kerwin Danley is the crew chief for game one because Joe West will work the plate for game 2, and Andy Fletcher is over at third. Hendricks to Jankowski to get us started. Low for ball 1. Saying 51 degrees as we get started. East wind at 5, but right now flags not really moving. Fog has rolled in.
Yeah, heavy dense air here. That fog that's been hovering around the city, still lingering like an unwanted dinner guest that won't go home.
Outside, 3-1 the count.
So there's been a lot of roster turnover for these Padres. So we talk about the success Hendricks has had against his club, but there's a lot of new faces in this lineup.
That's a strike, and it's 3-2.
Jankowski telling Toby Basner, "Hey, I'm not trying to show you up, man." But Basner with the hand first, and then the vocal call.
That is ball 4. So the leadoff man has reached. 26th man available for these two clubs. Right-hander C.J. Edwards, or Carl Edwards Jr., is in the Cubs bullpen for this day-night doubleheader, and lefty Keith Hessler, who was claimed by the Padres from the Diamondbacks off waivers, is their 26th man.
The rare walk for Kyle. He's only issued 6 free passes so far this year. Jankowski, not the field goal kicker. This is a baseball player. Jankowski, he's got a good eye. High on base percentage as a minor leaguer, and he can run a little bit. Keep an eye on him.
Will Myers went 0 for 5 last night, and he was leaning. Jankowski just able to get back, assisted by a former Cub, Tarek Brock, first base coach.
Well, Hendricks, an extreme ground ball pitcher, so you figure the Padres would look to start some base runners here, stay out of double plays. Measuring a fairly bold lead is Jankowski.
Nightcaps on CSN. That will be a 7:05 first pitch. Drew Pomerantz, a lefty, against right-hander John Lackey. Runner goes. The throw by Fedorovich. And he's safe. So 2-0 on the hitter. And they have a man in scoring position. Like if Zobrist had handled that throw cleanly, might have had him. So that's his 5th career steal, 3rd this year. the 2-0 to Myers is on the outside corner. Cubs gave up 7 last night and won the game. They're 8th in a row. Swing and a miss.
And if not for that overtime, extra inning loss to the Braves would be 13. Is that?
Yeah. It was a week ago Sunday.
Well, you look at the spray chart there on our pitch tracks, and that's typical of Hendricks. Living on the edge.
Driven to right, foul out of play. Cubs starters leading the majors with a collective 2.33 ERA. Hendricks really good his last time out after extra rest. Hooked on the ground to Javier Baez, and the throw gets out of play. So that's the second error of the season for Baez, and second in 2 days. And Jankowski will be allowed to score, and it's 1-0 San Diego.
Yeah, a sloppy start to this game. A couple things you don't typically see: a walk by Hendricks and an error by Baez. Fielding error last night. Here it's a throwing error. Gets a little out of rhythm there with the footwork, and then has to hurry the throw and sails it over the head of Rizzo.
So a 2-base error. Without a hit, the Padres lead this game 1-0. And it'll bring up Matt Kemp. He went hitless in 5 trips last night, although hit a couple of balls hard on a line for outs. And this ball's going to drop. Around third is Myers, and he will score, and it's 2-0 San Diego.
Can we take a mulligan? Can we start over?
Still nobody out, and it's Brett Wallace, the third baseman. Rizzo holds on Kemp. Cubs put 3 infielders between first and second. Here's the pitch. It's inside for a ball.
Wallace hits a lot of balls to the pull side on the ground. That's why they've got the shift there. It could create a little bit of an issue for Russell covering second base on a ground ball to Zobrist, coming at it from a different angle. But first priority is to stop the baseball, and Wallace much more likely to hit the ball on the ground to the right side than the left.
1-1 swing and a miss on a change. Or was that a curve?
I believe it was a change.
Change, okay. Yep.
Circle change, fading away.
One and two as Hendricks deals in the dirt. And it's even at 2-2. Derek Norris on deck. Well, you've got to cover 18 innings today, so that game 1 starter carries a little extra responsibility. You do have an extra pitcher as Wallace strikes out, and the Cubs have an off day tomorrow and another one on Monday, so that helps. It's the first out.
Steady diet of changeups to Wallace.
Here's Norris off to a very slow start. Did reach on a walk last night, but went 0 for 4. And the pitch. 0-1. Long pause at the belt, and Norris requests time. Looked pretty good on our pitch tracks, but Kobe Basner didn't like it. 1-1.
Hendricks' velocity down a little bit this year compared to last, and that's by design. Last year, he felt like he was losing movement on his sinker, so he's made an adjustment, gets on top, gets a little more movement, a little less velocity.
Line drive, base hit, played on a bounce by Jorge Soler. Second hit of the inning.
Velocity not a big part of Kyle's formula anyways. Not going to overpower you. He'll work 87, 88, 89 with the sinker.
Here comes Alex Dickerson. Made some history last night. According to stats, first Padre to crank a pinch hit grand slam for his first career home run. Not only his first homer, the first 4 RBIs of his major league career, and he's in the starting lineup today.
We got 0-2 slider from Adam Warren. Flick of the wrist into the seats, and all of a sudden we had a tight ball game.
Cubs held on 8-7. And the 1-0 is outside. Kyle getting behind a lot of these Padres hitters here in the first inning, and Chris Bosio will head out to the mound and join Tim Fedorovich and the entire Cubs infield.
I think the challenge here for Kyle is not get frustrated and just start shooting for the middle of the plate. That's not his game. I think he's been squeezed on a couple of occasions by Basner, but just needs to recalibrate. Keep working the bottom of the zone.
This is Hendricks' 51st major league start. Came in with a career earned run average of 3.45. FIP, a fielding independent pitching number of 328.
He's never walked more than 3 in a ball game in his major league career, and you have to go back to Bert Humphries back in like 1913, 1914 to find another Cub pitcher to do that.
Check swing, and Dickerson went too far. It's 2-1. Well, that could have been ball 3. Here's a pitch, nubbed off the end of the bat. Hendricks will pick it up, throw to first is in time. Any hesitation or bobble and the bases are loaded. That's 2 outs. Second and third, and Jose Perella will stand in.
Yeah, you have to walk that fine line between a sense of urgency but also staying under control. Not a whole lot of panic in that guy.
Perella playing second. 2 hits, 2 runs in the series opener. Now, with the Cubs' ability to score runs, obviously this is not a dire situation by any stretch. They haven't even batted yet. But as a starting pitcher, you can relate, you've given up 2 already. This batter's really important, isn't it? Because
Absolutely.
it could be 2-0 or 4-0 before you even bat. Charged by Russell. He will barehand, and he got him. Wow, what a play by Addison Russell.
Now, Andy Green is going to take a look. The Padres may challenge this one. And this ball, and it wasn't slowing down a whole lot, but the bare hand was the right way to go. Got rid of it, flung it over there all in one motion. It's very close.
This, no, they're not going to challenge.
It looks out right there.
Yep. So Russell with that great play keeps it a 2-run deficit as the Cubs will bat in the bottom of the first. Presented by Benny's Beverage Depot, and if not Dexter Fowler, actually Ben Zobrist, just get in that habit. If he gets a hit, Benny's Beverage Depot will donate $100 to the Greater Chicagoland Food Depository, and that'll set up the Cubs Southwest starting lineup. Fowler getting game 1 off as Zobrist will start it. Hayward, Bryant, Rizzo, Jorge Soler trying to get his season going. He's in left. Baez, Russell, Fedorovich was a Padre on paper last year, but spent much of the year injured. Kyle Hendricks bats ninth.
The Fighting Friars defensively: Dickerson, Jankowski, Kemp, left center, right Wallace, Rosales, Perella, Myers. In a reshuffled infield due to injury, Derek Norris behind the plate. Lexus starting pitcher Colin Ray, 25-year-old right-hander, 6'5", 220.
Outside for ball 1. He is from Cascade, Iowa. That's 200 miles west of Chicago. And I'm told he has hundreds of family and friends from his small hometown. And I guess they bought tickets to the game last night originally, because that was the night he was supposed to pitch. So they spent yesterday trying to exchange those tickets for today. 3-0 on Zobrist.
Well, so far he's been good this year. Made 6 starts, 1 relief appearance, 3-1, 382. 8 innings of 1-run ball against the Mets last time out.
That's on the outside corner. 4 hits for Zobrist last night.
Well, could easily have been ball 4. And a little 3-0 Leo going on there for Toby Basner. All right, though.
And another base hit for Zobrist.
That's all right.
Little bobble, and Ben thought about it. And he's going to stay at first. Throw actually got by. Benny's Beverage Depot and the Greater Chicagoland Food Depository benefiting.
There's only a couple players in Major League Baseball that swing and miss less frequently than Zobrist. Doesn't chase. It's in the zone. He hits it.
That start you mentioned against the Mets, career high 8 innings. He did not give up a hit until there were 2 outs in the 7th. And hadn't allowed a run until a solo homer to lead off the 9th. 2-0 on Jason Hayward.
Yeah, he can touch 95, 96 on the gun with a fastball. He'll sit around 92. There's a cutter, curve, and a split finger pitch. A little cameo with the Padres last year. Made 6 starts. Was 2-2 with a 4.26 ERA. Originally drafted by them in the 12th round in 2011.
Three and one. Check on Zobrist.
Hayward had a line drive base there, more of a soft line drive, one hopper through the infield. On the left side, he wouldn't be looking to do that here on 3-1.
Instead, it's ball 4. And the Cubs, who are trailing 2-0, have the first 2 men on for Chris Bryant.
Two-run double in the ball game last night for Chris. A lot of good at-bats lately.
One and nothing. Two-run double last night for Chris. Played left, he's in right today. And that's off the outside corner. 2-1. And starters getting into hot water right off the bat. Shallow right. Zobrist will tag, but I don't think he'll try it. And he'll take a few steps just to make Kemp make a throw. And back to the bat. So 1 out. And it's Anthony Rizzo, the former Padre. This is a good tune. Got to kind of get everybody awake here, right? Noon start. Get into it in the dugout. Anthony was batting .163 on April 19th. His average now up to .281. He has been red hot. 22 game on base streak, currently the longest in the National League. Some of the on base percentages in this lineup: .429, and it doesn't include Fowler today. .374, .423, .345, .374.
Yeah, and that coincides with that graphic we showed you at the outset with the 420 RBI guys. With that many men on base, you're going to score a lot of runs. For folks who are into the advanced statistics, the wins above replacement. I know there's some differences between some of the websites and how they calculate it, but on Fangraphs, Fowler's #1, Chris Bryant's #4, Anthony Rizzo's #8, Ben Zobrist #9. Zobrist actually tied with Cespedes. So, by that measuring stick, 4 of the top 10 players in the National League wearing Cub uniforms, position players.
Center and a base hit. Zobrist around third. He will score, and the Cubs are on the board. It's 2-1. RBI number 29 for Anthony Rizzo.
And you know, you and I have both worked for some teams that have had struggling offenses at times. And the narrative sometimes is when the starting pitcher gives up 2, he's sitting in that dugout going, oh no, I'm beat already. Just the opposite with this group. You give up 2 or 3 early, and you think, I'm good. If I shut them down here, yep, we're going to come back and win this game.
Rizzo now tied with Nolan Arenado for second in the NL with the 29 knocked in. Yoenis Cespedes has 31. Soler with a ground ball foul for strike 1.
These Cubs are really swinging it well. Here's one guy who's had a tough go of it so far.
Popped up on the infield and caught. Let's see it. And 2 outs.
That 2-seam fastball running in on the hands of Soler. It's thumped on top of the head.
That can't feel
too good. There's your day game wake-up call.
So that's a big out for Ray, and it's up to Baez. Tying run at third, go ahead run at first. And Ray steps off. Fastball strike.
R-E-A, Ray. I wrote my book R-A-E because it makes more sense to me.
It's a good, what was it again, Boggle?
Yeah.
What were the combinations with those 3 letters? R, era, ear.
You nailed it. There's a lot of time on the timer left.
Yep. That's caught, I believe, by Rosales. Didn't see a call made, but he throws to first. We'll call it a 6-3. Kerwin Danley asking, did you catch it? Well, it's 2-1 after an inning in game 1.
game report. What a week it has been for Ben Zobrist. 4 for 4 last night, already 1 for 1 this morning, and I had a chance to kind of ask him about the growing relationship he has with hitting coach John Maley, and he said at the start of the season, having never worked with him, guys, that he went through about the last 5-6 years of film of him hitting when things were going well for him, and they started out with all of these ideas and concepts that over the last week, he says they've really narrowed down to a routine where he's looking for certain cues, and of course has made a couple little adjustments, and right now it's working out pretty well. And he says Maley's so detail oriented, he'll know when I've changed things in my stance or just batting and hitting before I even will. But certainly whatever they figured out, guys, is working for Ben Zobrist right now.
He's as hot as any hitter in the game currently.
He's hotter than a depot stove.
You were the first person I ever heard say that.
That's an old Milo
Hamilton phrase. 1-1 on Rosales. He bounces to Baez. He throws him out. We'll bring up the pitcher, Colin Ray. Mentioned his hometown of Cascade, Iowa. Really small town. Let's put it this way. The motto of Cascade is the place we call home. That sounds like a small town, doesn't it? 2,200.
Lake Wobegoниsh.
The most famous person from Cascade, Iowa is a Hall of Fame pitcher, Red Faber, who spent his entire career with the Chicago White Sox, and Faber was actually on the 1919 team that was embroiled in the Black Sox scandal, but he was injured and ill during that series, and thus was not involved in that scandal. He was the last legal spitballer in the American League, and Red Faber passed away in 1976 and is buried here in Chicago.
254 games in his big league career. So good they named a college after him.
In the Bull House. 1-2 to Ray. Fly ball. Soler will chase after it, left center, and he's got it just as he got to the warning track.
Pretty good pop there by the big fella. Leaned out and leaned on it. So had to go a ways to track this one down.
Reminder, Cubs baseball on CSN Chicago is presented by State Farm. Glad to have you with us. Full day of Cubs baseball. As JD said, binge watching the Padres and Cubs. 3 games in about 27 hours, and it's all said and done. Kowski cuts and misses. Walk, steal, and a run in the first. This is the kind of inning Hendricks needed after the 2-run first. Padres 2, Cubs 1 after an inning and a half.
his propensity to get big hits is unbelievable. And now he's using the whole field. He's not chasing balls out of the strike zone. I mean, those are the adjustments he had to learn how to do last year when he was going badly. Now he's doing them at the end of last season into this year's.
Addison Russell will his first plate appearance. 9 hits over his last 5 games.
344 batting average in the month of May. 447 on base, 500 slugging. He's after hitting 214 for the first month of the season.
What we see from our center field shot, Ray, as he holds the ball in his glove, he's got the split finger grip to start. He's got the difficult grip, and then he can change to a simpler grip.
A little two-seamer coming here, I believe.
And it's lined into right.
Stay hot, young man. He's making good use of right field here lately. Got some big extra base hits down the line. This time punches a single into right. There's that two-seam grip. Trying to run it in on him. Doesn't quite get it in on his hands.
So Ray never really got settled in while pitching in college. He started at the University of Northern Iowa, then went to St. Petersburg College, finished up at Indiana State. Can you name the nicknames of all 3 of those schools? I'm guessing you can get Indiana State.
It's the Redbirds, isn't it?
No.
No, I'm thinking that's Illinois.
It's Larry Bird's alma mater.
Sycamores.
The Sycamores.
St. Petersburg would be the Soviets? The Fighting Soviets?
The Panthers. St. Petersburg.
Oh, Florida. I thought maybe it was
Titans. St. Petersburg Titans.
And Northern Iowa
Panthers.
That's next level. That's PhD level.
Well, you're
college
good
nickname.
though.
I know.
I had you. My over/under was 1.5, so you hit the under. 1-1 on Fedorovich. Ground ball gets past Myers. Pirello will pick it up, throw to first, out. 3-4-3. And a sharply hit ball.
On Myers in no time. Lucky for him, he got a little piece of it, and Pirello there to finish the play. Otherwise, it's first and third. And Hendricks is up there bunting Fedorovich along.
Men are in, even though this is not a bunting spot, with Russell already in scoring position and 1 out. Stays alive.
He appears to have a pretty good idea of what he's trying to do out there. Fastball command's been pretty good. I mean, he's given up 3 hits already, but keeps the ball down, works the corners. A couple mistakes.
Strikes out Hendricks.
Cub fans, tickets are going fast. Don't wait, plan now and get tickets to the matchups you'd like to see before they are gone. Good ticket options are available throughout the ballpark for the next 2 games. Get your tickets now at Cubs.com.
Here's Zobrist. Already 5 for 5 in this series. Ray bulked up a bit in the offseason. Added about 20 pounds. Strike on the switch hitter. His hands moving.
Zobrist pump. There's going to be a lot of kids in this area doing that now.
I don't think he ever has to buy dinner in Kansas City for the rest of his life. World Series ring with the Royals. 59 regular season games. Another base hit. And he's going to tie the game. Russell scores 2-2. This is something.
It has been a lot of fun to watch this guy perform. Joe Madden, who had him in Tampa, said this is the best he's ever seen him. You see the leg kick to get the weight back. The hands stay through the zone, even though he's out on that front foot a little bit. Great eye-hand coordination. That's where it all starts for a good hitter. And Myers down there in disbelief saying, dude, you're killing me. It's not that easy.
Former teammates in Tampa Bay. Fake toward a second, and Hayward tried the bunt with nobody in the area over there at third.
We talked about that last night, that would be tempting for him. He's had his struggles at the plate. You're giving it to him. He's in the 2 slot in the batting order. You've got some thumpers behind you. Why not try it?
So a run in the first, another here in the second after the Padres grabbed the lead in their first at bat.
Zobrist is 34, correct? Signed a 4-year deal. So you know that's guy gets 34. Typically, you see some decline, and you'd be hesitant to sign a guy that age to a 4-year deal. But because he's been so dependable, and because he is so versatile defensively,
he takes off, pitches off the plate in, and Zobrist is out. Derek Norris gets him. In fact, Zobrist will turn 35 on May 26th. He's playing like a 25-year-old these days. 2-2.
Got him dancing.
T-Mobile. Cubs winning 25 of 31. That ties the club record 1907, same start. One of 8 teams the last century to win 25 of 31. They've hit .313 as a team during this stretch. The run differential so far plus 103. That's more than double the next best. Cardinals at plus 47. They've won 33 of 39 in the regular season, dating back to the end of last year.
Best start since the '84 Tigers. They were 26-5 through 31, and then they went on to go 35-5.
35-5. Yeah. Cubs winning percentage is .806. No other team currently over 700. Then you go first to last in the American League East. 6-game spread. 7.5 in the American League West. 4 in the National League West. The Cubs are 8.5 up on their second place team in the division, the Pirates, as Myers singles to start the third.
Pirates aren't playing great baseball, but they're 2 games better than 500. It has to be disheartening for the Pirates. And the Cardinals expected to contend in this division, and they're not playing horribly, but they are 8.5 back for the Pirates, and the Cardinals are 9 games behind entering play today. I think the Cub players are focused so much on the standings and probably don't have a real appreciation for how good they've been. They just know they're doing a lot of winning. Spending a lot of time putting it into historical context.
No, that's kind of the last thing on the minds of everybody in uniform right now. It's our job, not theirs.
Last team to go this deep into a season without losing back-to-back games, the 1929 Philadelphia A's. Games 51 and 52 for that A's club.
See if they can turn 2 here. Baez to Zobrist to Rizzo. The Z trio, 5-4-3.
Yeah, well, Hendricks, the crispness of his sinker much more evident last inning than in the first inning.
Really had to work hard in that first. 1, 2, 3 in the second. Now 2 outs after the double play in the third, and it's Wallace. Could have been a strike.
Should have been. Toby Basner was caught by surprise. He hasn't thrown many curveballs. Wallace a strikeout victim last time. Chased a couple of changeups in that sequence, including strike 3. And get another one here.
John Lester last night in 6 innings gave up 3 runs and improved to 4-1 on the year. John Lackey will pitch tonight. Not even sure if he's at the ballpark yet. That just clipped Wallace. If you were pitching a split doubleheader, you didn't have a lot of those in your day, but if you were pitching at 7 o'clock tonight,
yeah, pretend this game wasn't going on. I would treat it just like what I would normally do for a night game.
guessing the older you get, the more experience you have at this level, the later you'd show up. When you're young, you probably tend to feel like you got to be there for the first game, but you really don't.
No, and the pitcher coach would tell a young pitcher, hey man, just stick with your routine, do what you normally do.
One 0 on the way, down by Fedorovich.
Most guys would plan their day so that they would show up, later in this game, so you don't have to deal with people leaving the ballpark. Roll in here about the 7th inning.
Fair ball, and it just trickles past Baez. Wallace is going to stay at second. So a hit by pitch and a single. Norris now 2 for 2, and the Padres threatening here with 2 outs after the double play ball. Bring up Dickerson, the left fielder.
Hendricks got another ground ball, but it was sharply hit ground ball by Norris. Maybe things starting to turn for him a little bit.
Ground ball towards Zobrist. He'll backhand. Throws to Rizzo. And that's it. Padres strand a couple. 3rd inning, game 1 of a double dip. 2-2.
Two Cubs to bat here in the bottom of the 3rd. Join CSN Chicago for a taping of Beer Money, the trivia show that tests your sports knowledge in exchange for cash. Kelly Crawl, she'll host tomorrow night at 5 at the Ogden in Chicago. Beer Money presented by Coors Light. Bring you knowledge.
Two tie as Jason Hayward.
I'd like to host Beer Money with that.
Oh,
I'd be very condescending to the people if they get it wrong, like Alex Trebek.
Floated to right and out of play.
No,
well,
so sorry.
Be careful what you wish for. You might be getting a phone call from somebody.
No such thing as a dumb question, but that was a stupid answer, sir. Are you even trying? You could put a whole new wrinkle to Beer Money.
Good cop, bad cop. You and Kelly would work well together. JD didn't mean it. Yes, I did.
He's just having a bad day.
Right field and foul again. Hayward was at the plate when Zobrist was caught stealing to end the second.
Man, that was scary. Getting his hacks in here.
Well, I think that might have been a splitter. I don't know what it was. It wasn't very good, but it was so bad it worked.
Yeah, I want to say maybe trying to throw a backdoor cutter.
Yeah, right. Yep.
And, we elevated it. And this is it's been a bit of an issue for Jason, been expanding up. He's better down.
So maybe that was by design. Here's Bryant. He flied to right his first time and takes a pitch outside and high for ball one. Drives this one to center, but it's caught by Jankowski. Mentioned this last night as the fog rolled in. It had a downtown Gaslamp District San Diego feel to it, and today very similar. We talk about the May gray and the June gloom.
Yeah, driving home on Lakeshore Drive last night, it was almost a post-apocalyptic, the look of the sky. Could have a homer in the Gloman here today.
Rizzo would be a candidate to hit that home run. 10 so far, 29 RBIs, including one on a single in the first. And that ball pinballing around in the Padres dugout. Two and one. Say Ramirez having some fun. Not sure if he's going to be available for game 2. He left with the hamstring issue last night.
Yeah, he said he was good. I saw some comments from him after the game. He said it was just a cramp. He's experienced that before, so he has proclaimed himself ready to go. We'll see.
Orioles lead the Twins 5-1 in Minneapolis, top of the 4th. White Sox and Rangers, Indians, Astros, and a few other games start fairly soon as Rizzo walks. Later tonight, Jordan Zimmerman and Max Scherzer, Tigers and Nationals. Keep an eye on that one.
Hey, how did the Miley Smiley matchup go last night? I forgot to check in.
The Miley Smiley matchup in Seattle was won by the Mariners 6-4. Miley beat Smiley.
Smiley wasn't very smiley, was he?
Well, Miley was.
Oh, Smiley wasn't smiling.
Right.
Chuck could, Chuck would.
Shallow right. And on the run, it's Matt Kemp. And that will end the inning. 2-2 tie after 3.
Budweiser bleachers under the left field video board in one of the ballpark's newest amenities, the left field porch. This private setting offers tremendous views, both sunny and shaded areas. Available in 50 to 100 blocks. You will enjoy lounge-style seating, unlimited beverages, and access 2 hours prior to first pitch. For more information, visit Cubs.com/premier. Get a big group together. Come on out. Enjoy the porch.
Strike one on Jose Perella, playing second base. Now 1-1. I guess Andrew Cashner now questionable for his next starting assignment with the hamstring issues. Knocked him out of his last start. Padres can't get a break in terms of their injuries here lately. Chased one in the dirt. Strikeout number 2 for Hendricks.
Wild swing by Perella at the curveball. Cashner scheduled to pitch Friday. The Padres move on to Milwaukee from here. These folks probably head right on to Milwaukee.
Yeah.
4-game series starts tomorrow.
Short center and a base hit. Rosales is aboard. Sure, he's got some family and friends here. Grew up in Park Ridge. Now the pitcher Ray.
Yeah, you would anticipate bunt here, but the swing he had last time was pretty impressive. So the Green may let him hack. Showing bunt. Now Hendricks being around the plate with good movement. And he gets a fair number of strikeouts for, a quote-unquote finesse pitcher, but I think you got a pitcher up there that can handle the bat a little bit. Situation where you might roll the dice and play a little run and hit, stay out of the double play. You might end up with a first and third situation.
Rosales took off as Ray bunted.
Maybe there was a missed sign there. The DraftKings Fantasy Sports Zone, located on the corner of Addison and Sheffield, is your game day headquarters. Open hours before the game, the DraftKings Fantasy Sports Zone has a large outdoor space, features live music, and the fully stocked signature Captain Morgan bar. Come out and enjoy this unique experience. Fans with tickets will have direct access to Wrigley Field. For more information, visit DraftKingsWrigley.com. Call me Ishmael.
Padres came into the series 13th in the NL in runs, but they put up 7 last night. They've had a fair amount of traffic so far today here in the first of 2.
The fellow here, Jankowski, made his major league debut last year, hit .211 in 90 at-bats for the Padres. He hit .392 at AAA El Paso after starting the year at San Antonio, where he hit .316. He went 44th overall selection in the 2012 draft out of Stony Brook University.
Originally from Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Stony Brook, I believe, of the Seawolves. out on Long Island. And remember, there was at least one year there where they went to the College World Series.
Trying to get a little redemption, huh?
Yeah.
Dropping a Seawolves on us. So right through that, as Jankowski swung through that.
Tests are always easy when you make up your own questions.
Exactly. Padres don't score. 2-2. In Miami, JT Realmuto thought he had hit a 2-run homer. But the Brewers challenged because they thought he passed Marcell Ozuna, and on replay they said he did. So Ozuna was allowed to score. Realmuto was called out. Last night we had a weird play as two players came together at third, Addison Russell and Javier Baez. Russell eventually tagged out at second. I had a couple of questions about the play at third and talked to a couple of umpire supervisors. The questions I had was, is it possible that Russell may have passed Baez? The point was moot because he was out, but just for future reference. And the conventional wisdom seems to be no, he did not pass Baez, but a little gray area there in terms of should Russell have retouched third on his way back to second.
Yeah, and I think it's open to interpretation because as I saw that replay just now, if you round a base, you pass a base, you have to retouch on your way back. But I'm not sure that's the case for Russell last night. He slid into the base, was knocked off the base by the third baseman. I mean, I think as a base runner, it's always the safest play to go ahead and retouch. He had higher priorities at that point. He was trying to scramble back to second.
1-1 to Baez. And I spoke with Gary Jones about why Russell ended up at third. He said the process was right. Russell had stopped at second. When he looked at the play, he saw the throw go to the plate and thought that Baez was heading home. As Javier drives one into the corner and left, and it's out of play. The one thing Addison failed to do is once he decided to go to third is he didn't look at third. He just put his head down and didn't realize that Baez was at the bag.
Yeah, and I didn't get a chance to talk to Addison about it. And the other thing that could happen on a play like that, because Jonesy was so far down the line.
Yes.
Addison looks towards third base, sees one body there. He may have thought, well, there's my third base coach, so Baez must be running home. But yeah, you gotta be cognizant of the traffic in front of you. Oof.
So essentially, it was a base running gaffe, but his process was fine. It wasn't. He didn't understand what was going on. He just didn't realize there was a guy standing at third. And I said, well, should a guy at second pick up the third base coach in that spot? And Jonesy said, well, no, because I'm not really at third. I'm halfway down the line at that point. Those are fun baseball plays for us because we can sit in the coach's room and talk about this play for a good 20 minutes.
And see, Addison, he stops, sees the throw heading home, and just assumed that the throw was coming home to make a play on Javi. It was not.
And did you see Baez fake toward home to try to
create a little diversion?
Yes, and it almost worked because it was a close tag play at second. Two balls, two strikes. And he's going to head down to first.
I believe that was a changeup with some kind of an off-speed pitch that got away from Ray. That splitter. Still scary when it's heading towards your coconut.
Ball one to Russell. Cubs have not led in this game. They were down 2 before they batted in the first.
This is the good battle here. Ray trying to coax that ground ball out of Russell. With sinker slider down and away. Both potentially ground ball offerings if Russell puts it in play, but he disregards both. So, no, I'm biting, big fella. You're going to have to throw me something over the plate.
For a base hit. Baez toward third. He's going to be sent. He will score. Cubs have the lead. 3-2.
Well, how good has this guy been? My goodness, Addison Russell coming of age. Great at bat. Lays off 2 borderline pitches. I'm not going to roll over. I'm going to get it airborne. So he thinks the other way. Flashes this line drive into the right field corner. We've seen a whole bunch of this lately. And I love watching him run the bases. There was no way he was going to make a mistake heading to third base there.
So their first lead of the afternoon. 2 hits for Russell. Tim Fedorovich was with the Dodgers. He got traded along with Matt Kemp in a deal that sent him to San Diego. And in the middle of spring training last year, suffered a knee injury, so he did not get to the big leagues with the Padres in 2015. I'm sure he would have caught some bullpens alongside Derek Norris early in spring training last year. Two and one. Andy Green from Lexington, Kentucky. When he was younger, he used to make the 5-hour-plus trip to Wrigley Field.
Infielder, played a little bit in the Diamondbacks organization, played with the big league club. A couple of seasons off and on, spent some time with the Mets as well.
3-2. His bench coach is Mark McGuire. There's Big Mac, big league hitting coach. Got to manage the Padres after Green got ejected from a game earlier this season. We'll try it again. Thanks to Tim for helping hand out checks on Monday afternoon. Cubs Charities teaming up with the Robert R. McCormick Foundation. Deep left field, and it'll get to the wall. It bangs off the bricks and past Dickerson. Russell scores. It's a double. 4-2.
This relentless lineup, up and down the lineup. One good at bat after another. We saw it last night. They chased the youngster Vargas. After 4 innings, he allowed 10 hits and 6 runs. And now Ray, after a pretty good start, starting to get knocked around here. Second time through.
Hendricks in a potential bunting spots. A runner at second, nobody out. And Ray will get it to Perella at first. Cub fans, show your team pride with Cubs checking and an official Cubs MasterCard debit card, only available at your local Wintrust Community Bank. Go to wintrust.com/Cubs to learn more. Member FDIC. Infield in against Ben Zobrist. He's got to be licking his chops here. Already 6 for 6 in the series.
Yeah, you just get the feeling he's going to hit it hard somewhere. He might have had a shot at Fedorovich at third base. If you're not sure, it makes sense to get the out at first, but see where he picks it up and where Fedorovich is. Certainly if it was a force play they had him, I think he had a shot at him.
2-1. So yeah, just to follow up, they handed out checks totaling more than $1 million in grants to nonprofits serving those in need in the Chicago area. It's a great event. Good to have Tim Fedorovich, Tom Ricketts in the front office in attendance on Monday. 3-1. This is where Zobrist's patience really plays too, as he continues to hit. Teams are probably not going to give him a lot of chances. Just keep the line moving. That's a strike.
But a pitcher's strike and could have been called a ball.
He walked him.
Just incredible. Talked about him in the opening, his approach. There are 11 guys of the 192 position players that qualify, have enough at bats to qualify. Only 11 have walked more than they have struck out. He leads in that regard, and it's almost 2-1. So a guy who's always been near the top of the league in that department is right at the top of it now, and by a wide margin.
That was going into today. Does not include a 2 for 2 and a walk. So yeah, he has now walked 24 times and has struck out 13. And he has not been a slap hitter either.
No. It's not like he's just choking up and trying to punch it the other way.
So it's Hayward's chance now with runners at the corners. 2 in to give the Cubs the lead.
And that's why I brought it up last time he was up, or the inning ended, as we were talking about his 4-year deal, even though he's turning 35 here soon. His skill set translates well, even if a couple of years down the road, if he's not an everyday player, part-time player to play a lot of different places, give you that good patient at bat.
Fly ball to center. Fedorovich ready to tag. It's not deep. Jankowski makes the catch and he's got a hold. Not a good throw. But the decision had already been made at third. Well, there's your potential 1-out send, right?
Yeah. We talk about it a lot, that there are times where you just send and hope for a bad throw. I think where the Cubs are in the batting order.
That's why still
it's not a bad idea not to go there.
Still a good send for Hayward in extras the other day, because required 2 strong, accurate throws to get him, and the Nationals executed. As Bryant fouls back.
Yeah, I think if Ben had to do it all over again, I think he would have gotten a more aggressive break off the base and been able to advance on that high throw. As Jankowski was wide right.
I knew you'd bring that back into the mix. To deep center. Jankowski's back on this one. He's got it. He's going to pay for it, but he made a great running grab, and that saved probably 2 more runs. That right hand maybe scraped up a bit. That is a really good catch. 4-2. All season long on CSNChicago.com, presented by Nationwide's Jeff Vukovich, serving the community for 38 years. Go to jeffvuk.com. Nationwide is on your side. A couple of terrific defensive plays to end the innings. Addison Russell in the first. Travis Jankowski in the bottom of the 4th. So it's 4-2, and each team could have more runs.
Boy, great swing by Bryant. When he first hit it, I thought the ball was going to be out of here. He's blowing in a little bit, heavy air. Brilliant play by Jankowski out there in center, one of the best we've seen this year.
Myers reached on an error in the first, singled in the third. He has scored once. Hendricks fires and it's low. Matt Carpenter hit 2 home runs last night in the Cardinals' 8-1 win in Anaheim. St. Louis with 9 extra base hits in that game. Russell guns it to first. Big 3-run homer for Ryan Rua in the 8th. Rangers came back from an 11-6 deficit to beat the White Sox 13-11. They're playing this afternoon. Scoreless in the second. As Kemp digs in, we want to welcome all our viewers watching on Mediacom in Cedar Rapids and in the Quad Cities. Called strike. Trace Thompson, 2 outs, bottom of the 9th. Homered. Dodgers beat the Mets 3-2 on Tuesday. Dodgers are 1 over 500, the only winning club in the National League West. So the Padres going into today, I mean, 13-20, but only 4 games back. Anything is possible, but as it stands right now, you'd have a hard time thinking the wild card team will come out of that division, but it's still really early.
Yeah, and I think maybe the worst thing that could happen for the Padres would be for them to be kind of on the fringes of the race as the trade deadline nears, because I think their game plan would be to try to move some of these veterans to add more to their farm system. Sometimes that's a tougher sell to the fan base if you're 5 or 6 games out of first place in your own division.
If the NL playoffs started today, the East would have the 2 wildcard teams, Nationals and Phillies.
Titans have been a surprise team, 5 games better than 500. The starting pitching has been really good. And I think that's how, the quickest path to a quick turnaround, starting pitching. You can have a mediocre lineup, but if you pitch really well, keep you in a lot of games, and find your way to pick up some W's. I don't expect them to sustain it. I could be wrong.
Hendricks back in it. 3-2.
Going with the combo platter, the blue and pink.
There's a happy camper. Strike 3 to end the inning. Hendricks with his second 1-2-3 frame of the afternoon, leading 4-2. Cubs looking for their 9th consecutive win, and they have a 4-2 edge over the Padres as we get into the bottom of the 5th. Feels a little chillier than it did at first pitch. We were at 51 when we started. Strike to Rizzo. Deep breath by Ray, and Rizzo bunts foul.
Look at that, even with 1 strike, gives it a shot. Such a good 2-strike hitter.
Well, you know, the wind not a big factor, but ball doesn't seem to be carrying, does it?
The air's heavy. No.
High drive to right. Kemp able to find the ball through the fog, and he makes the catch.
Treat your clients and guests to an all-inclusive suite experience this season at Wrigley Field on the Nuveen Investment Suite level. Businesses and individuals alike find suites to be the perfect setting to host their guests. To book your premier experience at the ballpark, visit Cubs.com/premier. Spike curveball. Fun peeking into the grips here of Ray. We've seen the splitter, the 2-seamer, and some people refer to that as a knuckle curve. It's not really a knuckle curve. Split grip. Over here. Do something different. Slide ball. Four-seamer. For most guys, the 4-seam fastball, the easiest pitch to control. So 3-0, and wants to make sure he finds the zone. 4-seam fastball is not going to move like a 2-seamer would.
A gapper out near the 368 sign. And Soler on his way to second. His first hit today.
Strides after a powerful swing of the bat for Soler has him at second base for Baez. 0 for 1. Hit by a pitch scored in the 4th.
Baez with a man on second and 1 out. That could have been a strike.
It was a cross-up.
It was. Baez backed out of the way, and Norris had to fight it all the way into the mitt. No. Hard to call it a strike, though, if you're Toby Basner when you can't see it.
Normally you see that maybe early in the game or when a new pitcher comes into the game.
Cubs have had plenty of men at second.
Yeah. Almost always that's on the pitcher, but every now and then the catcher will forget that sequence. Sometimes even forget what they're called. A lot to think about back there.
Pop foul to third. Former major leaguer Brandon Laird making headlines in Japan. Did you see what he did at the Tokyo Dome?
No, what did he do?
He was playing for the Nippon Ham Fighters, and they beat the Oryx Buffaloes 4-0 yesterday. But it was where his home run landed that made headlines. 2-2. Hit the Kirin beer sign. So with that shot, it pays him $10,000 and he gets a year's supply of beer. They've got signs above the stands in left and right in that ballpark. So you can win cars, electronics, and in this case, a year of beer.
Beer of the Month Club.
Well, they used to have that in the big leagues, right? Hit it here, the bullseye.
Yeah, it's been, and then the minor leagues, that tradition continued for a long time. Hit it here, win a suit. Local clothing store might give a player a suit or something.
Backhanded play at Wallace. And the throw gets by Myers. Soler to third. Baez to second.
Andy Green would probably admit that his team needs to play near perfect baseball to compete with this Cubs lineup. It's charged to Wallace, a long throw. Myers does not have a lot of experience there at first base. That's one he probably should have picked.
So that opens things up now for Russell, who already has 2 hits. Second and third, 1 out. And they're going to walk him. And face Tim Fedorovich instead. Fans like to boo when the home team gets intentionally walked, but remember the Bryce Harper thing the other day.
Nobody was booing that.
No, don't boo. It's okay.
Well, and you would want to be careful with Addison Russell these days. The way he has been swinging, he's having a big month of May, and a lot of it has been his approach, a willingness to shoot the ball the other way, staying. Put those hands inside the flight of the ball. You saw that one where he drove Harper to the wall, this time all the way into the corner. So you're seeing the trend, not just hitting the ball the other way, but pounding the ball the other way. A lot of extra base hits. So many good young shortstops in the game, and Addison Russell right there amongst the best.
Fedorovich couldn't hold up.
There's a familiar face.
Carlos Villanueva. Oh, 2. Del Montero DHing today. Caught, I think, 6 innings last night for Iowa. 2 for 3 with a couple knocked in. He's not far off from making his return to the active big league roster. Two and 2.
Tim Fedorovich has done a nice job since coming up to replace Miguel. Nice to know you have a guy like this down at AAA to provide that depth.
Swing and a miss for strike 3. So the strategy to walk Russell paying off, at least for now, as Hendricks will take the at bat. In the era of the strikeout, but not a ton of them today. It's only the third for Ray. Hendricks does have 5. Takes a pitch high for ball 1. This has got to be it for Ray, right? This will be his 109th pitch. And his manager hoping he can get through this 5th inning. One and one.
Padres have Drew Pomeranz pitching the nightcap, and he's really been throwing the ball well. Green field. Fairly confident that he might get some innings out of him.
Diving stop. Wallace from a knee. He gets him so after the error earlier. Wallace with a 5-star play, and the inning is over. Cubs leave them loaded. They lead this game 4-2.
Circle changeup grip by Kyle Hendricks. This is Brett Wallace's first at bat in the first inning, and then his last at bat in the last half is on the right. You see Hendricks is coming with the fastball. So the changeup from the first at bat begets the result on the right. So we'll take a look and see Wallace fooled by the changeup. So he's certainly, if not sitting on changeup there, he's aware of changeup in that final at bat. And Hendricks crosses him up, freezes him with the heater. Just great pitch selection and execution by the professor. And I believe he shook to the fastball there in that final pitch to end the 5th inning. He knew exactly what he wanted to do.
Derek Norris, who's 2 for 2. Be the first Padre to bat here in the 6th. This has been hit by a couple of backswings from Cubs hitters. On strike.
As a pitcher, when you get into a groove, people used to refer to as in the zone, you can almost anticipate the result of the pitch before you make it. So hitters are reacting to your stuff, what they've done in the past. Just tell yourself, if I make this pitch in this spot, he's going to take it. I'm going to get him to pop up the right side.
This one's popped up left side. And is it caught? No. Good effort by Baez.
Oof, got a glove on it, yep. A heck of a try.
Swing and a miss. How about that? He made him look late on 88.
Established soft early and get away with that heater.
Make sure you follow In Game Live on csnchicago.com. Presented by State Farm. Dickerson has grounded out twice. Ball one.
He's got the feel for that sinker changeup combination. Had a good curveball today too.
Ball strike three.
Padres hitters right now are completely lost. They have no idea what to expect from Hendricks.
That's 4 strikeouts in a row and 5 out of 6.
So he threw the changeup away that was fouled off, or excuse me, the fastball away that was fouled off. Instead of coming back with a changeup, he goes fastball in to freeze Dickerson.
Jose Pirela. 0 for 2. Popped up. Hendricks getting stronger as this outing has moved along. He has now retired 8 in a row. Ball just got him elected into the Hall of Fame. Get to know Bulls owner Jerry Reinsdorf on an all-new inside look presented by Cadillac. Premieres tomorrow at 7 on CSN Chicago. Jabari Blash in the game in left to hit in the 9th spot, and former Chicago Cub, the crafty righty Carlos Villanueva, will do the pitching.
Working for the 13th time. He has pitched to a 5.63 earned run average. Home runs have been an issue. He's allowed 6 already this year. In 16 innings of work, he allowed 6 all of last season, and 61 innings pitched for the St. Louis Cardinals. That's where He went after 2 years here in Chicago.
Very popular guy in the clubhouse he's been in. Made 20 starts as a Cub over those 2 years, 2013 and 14. 69 relief appearances. He can pretty much do whatever you ask in terms of role.
He's a utility pitcher.
Yeah, he's kind of the Ben Zobrist of pitchers.
Ben Zobrist of hitters wasn't about to bite on that changeup.
3-1. Single walk. First 3 plate appearances for Zobrist, and that is foul through the bullpen.
Nueva, below average velocity. Typically good command, slider, curve, and change. A quick pitch you every now and then.
32 years old. In the air to center. Jankowski drifting back, and he makes the catch. First time Zobrist has been retired in this series. About people in terms of how not only they treat their teammates, clubhouse staff, and Jason Hayward has received 10s all around. Here's a guy who's just signed an 8-year contract worth a lot of money. Still as classy as ever, and he's safe at first, and the ball I think hit him, and he's at second. So the Padres with another defensive mistake, giving the Cubs more chances.
That was Brent Wallace over on the right side of the infield, the third baseman on the shift, trying to do or die play. Looks to me like a couple times now we've seen Myers over there at first base. This is a tougher play because it's such a short throw, but it looks to me like he kind of sets his feet too early. First baseman's taught to go over there, straddle the bag, and react to the throw. Looks like he's kind of got a foot on the bag and then not able to make the adjustment if the throw's offline. The second error charged to Wallace today.
Single and then the error, allowing Hayward to get to second. Here's Bryant. Swing and a miss. That sounds trite to say. It's a great group of guys, but it really is.
There's
look at all the new guys coming in, the character. That's part of the recruiting process for this group.
Right. And then young guys that come in, learn the culture, what it means to be a big league player, how to behave. Doesn't mean you can't tolerate outliers or different personalities.
Salas. It's Bryant. Chris 0 for 4. Hit the ball hard a few times.
Zone. Carlos sharing a moment there. Anthony said something. I don't know. after the intentional walk was called for.
Here's Soler.
Colin Ray today, 5 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs, all earned. He walked 4, one of which was intentional, struck out 3.
Inside corner for a strike. And the uniform numbers. Carlos wearing number 23 for the first time in his Major League career. 33 and 12 were the previous numbers he wore. That is not a strong part of my game.
Numbers?
Yeah, I know a lot of baseball fans. They can tell you every uniform number of every player who ever played. Infield pop up. Easy play, Myers. And the inning is over. We go to the 7th. It's the Cubs 4. And the Padres 2.
In our lineup for season tickets, it's easy and free to register. For details, visit Cubs.com/waiting list.
Send out condolences to the family of Ron Tolman, longtime Cub fan who recently passed. 7th inning, Kyle Hendricks.
He's
still working.
Yeah, working in. A little bit of a wobbly start, has been really good, and last 3 innings absolutely locked in.
Rosales swings and misses. So strike 1. Paid crowd 34,508. Obviously not that many are in the ballpark. This is a makeup game from the rainout Monday, but Good crowd for school day. In a game that was rescheduled less than 48 hours ago.
Got Piano Man in my head now.
Two.
You're going to throw him a little cut changeup, which had other ideas, so they're going to reset. Go in.
Inside corner, he got it.
He is in full-blown Rembrandt mode here today. A little inside corner, you want it there? Okay, boom. If we're going to the pub to throw darts, I want him on my team.
Lash fouls off. 6'5", 235 from the U.S. Virgin Islands. 8th round pick of the Mariners, 2010.
Rule 5 draft pick, so he's got to stay on the roster all year or be offered back.
Ooh. Knocked down Baez. He's got time. 2 outs. Ten in a row retired by Hendricks. Good bunt. Baez had no play, even if he picked that one up cleanly.
Kind of like Jankowski's game. Very fast. He doesn't hit for power. But, as a minor leaguer, he would work walks, hit for average. As good as Hendricks has been, his afternoon is about to come to an end here.
So we will have a Weber call to the pen. Call grilling flavor up to the bigs. And Kyle Hendricks should get a nice hand. Pedro Strop coming on when we return to Wrigley Field. pen, make sure you call Grilling Flavor up to the bigs. Pedro Strop, 2 outs, top 7, tying run at the plate.
Strop, dominant stuff. Enters this ball game with the tying run in the batter's box. Chris Bryant slides over to left. Mr. Fowler now in center.
Jason Hayward in right. So Soler is out. And Will Myers looks at ball 1. That'll be a wild pitch.
If there was a category for an extreme wild pitch, it would have been one of those too. That one really got away from Strop. As good as Hendricks has been, this move is not so much about Hendricks running out of gas or anything like that. It's just you're bringing an elite arm into the game, a strikeout pitcher, far less likely to give up slugging. And Myers is dangerous. Right-handed batters hitting 121 off Strop this year. 33 at bats. They have 4 hits, no home runs, just a couple of doubles. And this is with a lack of depth in the batting order hurts the Padres. Joe addressed it last night in his post-game comments. He identified 2 or 3 guys in this lineup that you want your best guys on. So he sees an opportunity for the Padres here with Myers and Kemp due up. So he goes to Strop in the 7th. Normally he would wait till the 8th.
Baez from a knee, and it gets by, and the Padres get a run. It's 4-3. Good effort. Probably going to be a hit.
It'd be a hit, but an error that allows the run to score. Jankowski would have stayed put had Anthony been able to pick that one. It's a full-on Gumby mode there with the stretch, but could not pick it.
Still waiting for a ruling on the play in terms of the scoring decision. Run will be charged to Hendricks, and Kemp takes a fastball in. Single RBI, no error.
That's got to be an error. Jankowski doesn't score without the throw. There's now he's calling it E5.
You are right. Runner scores on the error.
So whether that becomes an earned run or not is determined by what happens here.
Two and 0 on Kemp. Well, the Padres last night stormed back late, make it a 1-run game, and they're hanging around again today. That's a strike. Fastball count. There's a slider in there. It's 2-1. Ryan Buchter, lefty, the San Diego bullpen.
I think Kemp will chase sliders off the plate away, and he'll chase an elevated fastball. That's profile on him. He's hardly walked at all this year. But obviously big time power. You got to be careful here on 3-1. Got to make a pitch.
representing the tying run, and he'll be going on this 3-2 pitch. Here it comes. We'll do it one more time. Another 3-2, ball 4. Now it's Brett Wallace. Nobody loosening in the Cubs bullpen. And Chris Bosio will make a mound visit.
Yeah, he's not finishing that slider. I don't know, he just doesn't feel real fresh here today. He only threw 3 pitches in the ball game last night. Fastball is inside, understandable, but having that slider drift off the inside part of the plate, essentially backing up on him. It's not a positive sign.
Now the tying run potentially a single away from scoring, with Myers at second. Here we go. Good start. Door slider.
Cubs late inning relievers, normally Strop and Rondo, they have not had to pitch in that many high leverage situations because of the comfortable leads this club has had.
Wood taking off his sweatshirt in the Cubs bullpen. The 1-2 lifted in the air out into deep left center. It's way back and it's gone. That is a 3-run shot for Brett Wallace. And the Padres have their second 2-run lead of this day.
The second home run of the year for Wallace. Backdoor slider. He stays right on it, boy. His day has turned around. He's made a couple errors, punched out a couple of times. Now a chance to be a hero for the Padres unless the Cubs can come back here. Tough hang with him for Kyle Hendricks. He was brilliant this afternoon.
We'll get a no decision. 1-1 to Norris. Neil Ramirez has joined Wood. There's some big late inning home runs for the Padres in this series. Dickerson off the bench, the grand slam to make it tight last night, and the go-ahead 3-run homer by Wallace today. guessing back-to-back games. This might be the most runs the Cubs have allowed this year. Well, they did give up 13 in that loss in Cincinnati on April 23rd. Blooper will drop. Norris has 3 hits.
Had that shot of Travis Wood out there. Looked like he was working quickly, trying to get ready for Dickerson. We'll see if Joe decides to use him here. It's John Jay actually coming up to hit. Feeling the wave of spot in the batting order.
Probably in the game 2 lineup on a foul strike. A 4-run top of the 7th.
It's an odd feeling for the Cubs to be behind late in the game. It's been so rare.
Two and one. And 2 and 2. This will almost assuredly take Pedro out of the mix for game 2. 25 pitches. Count holding. Two.
Wallace home run, the first one allowed by Strop this year. This ball deemed a little low by Toby Basman.
Norris takes off. And that will be it for Strop. So it'll be Neil Ramirez to try to get out of this 7th inning. 4 runs in for the Padres, and they lead 6-4, and we'll be right back. Weber called to the pen, and here's right-hander Neil Ramirez.
Neil on for the 7th time. Actually, for a while on the bereavement list, his grandmother passed away. It's been a while since he's been out there. April 28th, his last appearance. Tough luck for Hendricks today. 6 2/3, 6 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned, 1 walk, 8 strikeouts.
Here's Perella, 2 men on. He's the 9th batter of the inning. Todorovic smothers it, and the first guy Pedro Strop went up to was the starting pitcher Kyle Hendricks. Bad feeling for a reliever. Can't hold that lead for the starter. And the pitch, swing and a miss.
And the starter knows that the job isn't easy, so no apology needed. So say something to prop Strop up. Hey man, you bailed me out plenty of times.
One and two. Swing and a miss. Time for the 7th inning stretch, brought to you by Mazda.
For this afternoon stretch, please direct your attention to the left field video board.
The stretch. A 1, a 2, a 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and fries. Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back, so we root for the club. They don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out in the old ball game.
By 2 runs. Ryan Buchter, a left-hander, facing Javier Baez, and a high fly ball deep left center, and it's going to be caught. I lost the ball off the bat.
Yeah,
I was thinking it might be over the scoreboard or something.
Well, the way Javi reacted, I thought he got it. I think he did too. Victor has been good. He's pitched to an 0.61 ERA. Big strikeout numbers, 21 punch-outs in 14 2/3 innings. There are a number of walks mixed in there, but you can live with it when you get that many swings and misses. Actually spent some time in the Cubs organization back in 2009, 10, and 11.
Carlos Villanueva now the pitcher of record for the Padres.
Victor was back with the Cubs again last year at AAA for 16 appearances.
Two and one.
One game in the big leagues with the Braves in 2014, 15 with the Padres here this year. The rest of his time spent as a minor leaguer.
Swing and a miss, 2-2.
I guess we'd have to say Booker has certainly paid his dues. 29 years of age, 33rd round pick of the Nationals back in 05.
Full count, 3-2. And Russell, Fedorovich on deck. Called strike 3 on the inside corner.
Wednesday, May 25th, Kerry Wood will bring the heat. Sign up and get a chance to swing for the fences, competing for the Battle of the Bats Home Run Championship at Wrigley Field. It's your chance to step up to the plate for Chicago's kids and support the Wood Family Foundation and Cubs Charities. For details, visit CubsCharities.com.
Pitch to Fedorovich. He's outside. Missed away again. Padres closer is former Cub Fernando Rodney. It's an interesting windup, isn't it, for Booker?
Yeah, well, and I don't know much about him. I'm looking at his numbers. He's really struggled with control throughout his minor league career, and that's probably what has held him back. So, not a whole lot going on. Get set and comfortable and step and go. Trying to simplify things, perhaps.
It's simple, but it's not. It looks awkward when it starts, doesn't it?
Well,
Works for him.
Yeah, he's got that little stop and go. But the hands are real quiet.
And on the hands, Fedorovich pops it up. Norris in front of the Cubs dugout makes the catch. So Buckner goes 1-2-3 to the 8th, 6-4 San Diego. Cubs game schedule brought to you by Travel Wisconsin. Plan your fun today at travelwisconsin.com. And here are your probables for game 2. Left-hander Drew Pomeranz off to a really good start. And right-hander John Lackey, who will seek win number 5. Recently got his 2,000th career strikeout. And we'll have that one for you on CSN tonight, 7 o'clock.
These guys might be arriving at the ballpark right about now. Who knows? They could have been here all day. As we discussed earlier, normally starting pitcher would try to maintain this same routine.
Ramirez will try to hold the Padres at 6. Missing Rosales, the shortstop, and the pitch. In the hole, diving stop, Russell. Throw to first, late.
Rosales runs pretty good. Slower man, he would have had a heck of an effort here by Russell.
Melvin Upton Jr. for Buchter. Slider for a strike. Front door slider. Upton, a home run off John Lester. A couple of guys who used to battle quite a bit in the American League East.
It's their first hit of the night last night. Came in the 4th inning with 2 outs. Speaking of, this uprising in the last inning by the Padres all started after 2 were out. 2 out, nobody on, and Mikowski dropped down a bunt single to get things rolling.
Fog rolling out of the ballpark now. Still low clouds around here in the city, but inside the ballpark it's much clearer than it was even 10 minutes ago. Still 1-2. Ramirez ready. Throw to first, safe on a close play.
Good call, just made it back. A big hop at the end of his secondary lead. Ovich trying to exploit it just a little bit late. Neil Ramirez will turn 27 later on this month. He's from Virginia Beach. That's the same area that Upton's from.
Ryan Zimmerman, David Wright, Michael Kadire. That area missing a lot of big league talent. There goes Rosales, and ball 4. Two on, no outs.
Got to respect his speed and the ability to lay down a bunt single last time. They may go straight sacrifice here. We'll see how Andy Green chooses to play it. Javi Baez at third base has to be careful not to leave too early. Rosales sneaking to third base behind him.
To second, and it hits the runner Rosales.
Rosales is a fun guy to watch play. He's always bouncing around, plays with a lot of energy.
Three and one. Will Myers on deck. And he's going to bat with the bases loaded. So the Padres trying to play add-on, something the Cubs have been very good at with late leads so far this season. That bunting stuff is over for now. You're getting into the heart of their lineup. Infield in. Here's a pitch. Curve strike.
So important to get the jump on the hitter in this situation. One hopper to shortstop would work beautifully.
Two strikes to Myers. And he got him. So now he's got a fighting chance. He can get a double play ball. And it'll bring up Kemp.
bounced into a double play back in the third, but that was against Hendricks, who's much more of a ground ball type pitcher.
Old foul on the ground. Franklin Font with a nice pick. Brandon Maurer. As the late Jerry Coleman would say, Brandon Maurer throwing up in the Padres pen. Oh, 2.
The other one was, well, there was many with Jerry. Dave Winfield up against the wall. He hits his head off the wall and it's rolling back in towards the infield. Oh, this is an awful thing for the Padres. He's got to jump on Kemp, see if he can put him away.
Kick the pitch low and outside. Padres led 2-0. Cubs led 4-2. And then a 4-run 7th. Featuring a 3-run homer by Brett Wallace, giving the Padres the advantage again. He is on deck.
Three runs charged to Pedro Strop. He did not record an out. 3 hits, a couple of walks. ERA jumps up to 3.95.
Line drive caught by Bryant. Here comes Rosales. Throw to the plate. Safe. Other runners will move up as the ball got by. Tough error on Chris Bryant as that ball got away from Fedorovich. It's 7-4 now and the sacrifice fly.
Yeah, outfielders get charged with a lot of tough errors on plays like this. As the throw comes in, it hits the base runner right square in the back. It was a good, strong, accurate throw. And it got there about the same time as Rosales. But you have to account for those back runners moving up. So if Bryant gets charged with the error, more importantly, the Padres add another run to their lead.
This time Wallace will be intentionally walked to load the bases, and they'll go after Norris, who has 3 hits. Well, a couple of right-handed relievers with a lot of pitches made. Strop through 28 did not record an out. Ramirez now an inning of work, nearing 30. Although, as JD mentioned, well rested.
Walk's a big part of it. Walk to Upton after the infield hit by Rosales, and then Jankowski up there trying to get a bunt down, and had a hard time finding the zone. He ends up working a walk.
Ball one. San Diego with 10 hits. 7 runs for the second straight game to start this series. Line right field, and the catch is Hayward had to leave his feet. Staving off a couple more runs. Cubs hoping that will loom large. They've got 6 outs to work with offensively, trailing by 3 in the 8th. Bottom of the 8th. New pitcher for the Padres, right-hander Brandon Maurer.
Maurer 0-1 through 16 appearances, 4.02 ERA. Hard thrower. He has struck out 22 in 15 2/3. He's topped out at 99 miles per hour.
Strike on Dexter Fowler, who did not start this game. This is his first plate appearance. Fowler has been an on-base machine, especially leading off innings. See if he can get on here, and he will. Because that's what he does. A good start. Here's Ben Zobrist.
With this lineup, I'm sure Andy Green not feeling all that comfortable over there in the Padre dugout. I know he's got a 3-run lead. This is going to make you earn it. Two singles, a walk, and a deep drive to center. The only time they got him out today.
One and one on Ben. Maurer came up through the Mariners system Big league debut 2013. He's pitched exclusively in relief with the Padres since the start of last year.
Pressure busts a pipe.
Tying run at the plate, no outs, bottom 8. Inside on Hayward. Foul off. Have seemed indestructible here as of late. Winners of 8 in a row. They've shown a lot of toughness here in games they've trailed. There's closer Fernando Rodney. Hayward strikes out. Those action-packed films where in the shootout looks like the villain's dead and they don't check his pulse. It's like the Cubs offense. So you get literally the 27th out, they're not done. Now Bryant loves hitting in this ballpark.
Having a hard time finding the strike zone. He made a heck of a pitch with the changeup to get Hayward. When he has found the zone, it's been with the fastball. It's been out over the plate.
In the air, back of first, and it's caught by Myers. 2 outs. And it's up to Rizzo. RBI single, 2 walks, 1 intentional, and a fly to right. Hefty home run leaderboard. Only Giancarlo Stanton has hit more home runs among National League players since 2013.
Well, this would be a fine time for one of those. Rodney up in the bullpen, so Andy Green clearly willing to use Rodney for more than 1 inning here. Fernando not really warming with any sense of urgency. Maybe they just wanted to get him going, then watch the inning develop.
into some trouble and works out of it. Getting Hayward, Bryant, and Rizzo, and it's still 7-4 Pods as we go to the ninth.
How do you get to Wrigley Field? Practice, practice, practice. If not, the Cubs suggest taking public transportation. They offer a free bike check, now located by the Addison Red Line station. And if you drive your car, the Cubs provide free remote parking and shuttle service on night and weekend games. For information, visit the A to Z guide at Cubs.com.
Clayton Richard is on. Cubs trailing by 3 here in the ninth inning.
Stretch there where Clayton wasn't getting a lot of work. Lately, he's been pretty busy. He's worked 8 times now. High ERA of 7.71, but he's just 4 2/3 innings. So, you know how that goes. Have one bad outing and end up with an inflated earned run average.
Jay bounces back to the mound. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Last night we had an all Chief Justice matchup with Warren against Jay.
Right. Perella hitless in 4 trips. We always have fun with surnames. But Black was the manager of the Padres. Now it's Andy Green. I suppose at some point in their history they need to have a manager with the last name Brown, right?
Didn't they have Whitey Lockman for a while? That's not a last name.
Still think that Brown in their uniform, they need to incorporate that full time at some point.
They could get Colonel Mustard to manage their club.
A roller to Zobrist. 2 gone. Rodney and Quackenbush. Hit well, but 4 and out. Rosales lines to Fowler. Last chance now for the home team with the 8-game winning streak on the line. John Lackey looks for his 5th win. Lefty Drew Pomerantz will go for the Padres. First pitch at 7 on CSN Chicago. Ramirez comes into play short. Rosales goes over to second, and former Cub Fernando Rodney will try to notch the save.
Fernando turned 39 in March. Looking along nicely here. 8 out of 8 in save chances. He has an ERA of 0. 12 innings, 6 hits, 6 walks, 13 strikeouts.
Ryan Kalish. To lead it off. Batting for Richard.
A good heater, an outstanding changeup.
This is bread and butter. And the pitch. Well, it was. Cool and foggy today.
Comes another changeup.
It's a no pitch. Can't walk with nobody on. 14 appearances for the Cubs last year. Won twice. And an 0.75.
He's got his cleat there as he started to glide down the mound.
2 appearances in the playoffs. 1 in the division and 1 in the championship series.
Padres fans have seen that this combination, the fastball changeup. Trevor Hoffman, their great closer for so many years. That's how he made his living.
Roll over to first baseman Myers on the changeup. Baez, then Russell. Maybe the first sports cliche I heard when I was a kid. It's one we all know, is you can't win them all. But the Chicago Cubs here in 2016 are battling against that. It at times has felt like
I take
they can win them all.
Take it for granted.
Broken bat fly ball, shallow left center, run down by Jankowski, 2 outs. Cubs winning each of their last 8. They haven't lost in a week and a half, but they're down to their final chance here.
I heard a little bit of Joe's post-game press conference last night on my drive home from the ballpark, and in the line of questioning, it sounded like the team had lost the game. You know, it was like, what went wrong? And the bullpen coughed it up. You know, Russell made the mistake on the bases, and all legitimate points, but you know, interesting questions. But they've won, and they've won easily so many times. Even a close win is a bit of an aberration.
Very calm conditions at the moment with this heavy air. Flags pointing straight down in center. And a strike, it's 1-1. Not a lot of wasted movement for Fernando Rodney. He pitches out of the stretch with nobody on, but all that really means is puts his hands together and then throws. Doesn't even move his feet when he goes set. On the ground to the shortstop, Ramirez, and that'll do it. So the Padres take game 1 of this doubleheader, and that'll set up a rubber match of this series in the night game tonight. Final score, Padres 7, Cubs 4, and our toast of the game is presented by Binny's Beverage Depot. And Brett Wallace with the opposite field game-winning home run.
You know, Wallace had struck out twice previously. He got a backdoor slider from Pedro Strop, who obviously was not on his game, and that inning started with 2 outs and nobody on. A little bunt single got it going, and then the big swing of the bat by Wallace.
Binny's Beverage Depot, the official champagne provider of the Chicago Cubs. Game 2 coverage, 7 o'clock tonight on CSN. John Lackey for the Cubs, lefty Drew Pomerantz for the Padres. Final score in game 1, Padres 7, Cubs 4. Blue Cross Blue Shield Cubs post-game live. They're setting up shop on the field here at Wrigley, and that's next.